Fabrizio.
We go.
I remember the days in which you would look at BBC Sport and the newspapers to see which player had gone where and what transfers had been made in the January and summer transfer window. Nowadays you have one man, maybe a couple, but there's one man that stands above the rest. Fabrizio Romano has really made his name in football. He rarely gets anything wrong, and there's very rarely a player or a transfer that goes under his radar. People are saying he ruins football and that it would be a better place without him, because football transfers are no longer a surprise. He knows exactly where they're going to be, the date that they will be announced, the medicals that they're having, and what teams are in contact. In some ways it is very much informative, it gets you a lot more excited, but that feeling of signing a new player who you never expected is now totally gone. You've had a few when Danny Ings got announced for Aston Villa, there's a few examples, but for the most part the big money signings Fabrizio will know about, and he's built his career on. I think this is the way football journalism would have gone anyway, because of how online everyone is now, social media. There've always probably been these people around, but instead of now working for the companies and corporations, they work for themselves, and they're really on the ball. Fabrizio Romano remains one of the best, and no transfer goes under his nose. Here we go, or some other variation, here we land by that little kid. But Fabrizio has really started a movement, hasn't he? And as a sports journalist, almost taken it to the next level. You've got, as I said, all these people working for corporations, etc. But Fabrizio, watching that day in the life video, if you watch that, and what he does, how many phone calls he's taking, moving from different countries, etc. He has got contacts, and that's what the most important thing in life, to be honest. It's almost who you know rather than what you actually have in the bigger world. Fabrizio has built his network up, and he's got links to every single agent, every single country, it seems, and that is a huge bonus for him. What he has done in, realistically, initially off Twitter, finding out ins and outs of every transfer, something that no one ever did. You had BBC Sports, etc., but all those news stuff, it's almost like it's not going to be instant for you. We're going to put it out and filter it, etc. Fabrizio puts it out as soon as he knows, and he's going to tweet, here we go. Is it bad or is it good? I think it's one of those, realistically. Yes, we'll never get that feeling back of, oh my god, I can't believe that transfer has happened for that price, but you do get sort of excited when you know your club's in talks, or even maybe if you're a smaller club, when Fabrizio even fucking tweets about you, which sounds a little bit weird to say realistically, but I think for the game, look, it was always going to go in that way. Yes, you could say he has ruined it, but I think someone was going to come along anyway and do that sort of stuff. It benefits everyone realistically, and most people, I reckon, just get their sources from him. You look at Sky News, etc., they probably just go, yeah, Fabrizio's tweeted it, fuck it, yeah, he's come, this person is going there, Wirtz, etc. Some interesting stuff, and I think even though you know, like Wirtz is going to Liverpool, for example, at the time of recording this, he hasn't been announced, but you're still excited the fact that your team is talking to these clubs and talking to them players. It's one of them. It will never truly be the same, but I don't realistically think it's solely Fabrizio's fault. There's a lot of cases you could say in terms of VAR and not VAR, you know what I mean? A lot of arguments for football, but for the most part, he is a wonderful journalist. Now, if you do look at a day in his life, he literally probably has over 15 hours screen time every single day, constantly talking to different agents. He's in Italy here, he's in this other place. He's going to tweet, here we go. Unbelievable work ethic, and that is what is needed to do a job of football journalism. Even when the transfer market is still not open, he is still constantly working, and I can definitely see why people feel like the excitement in transfers is totally gone, and why maybe he has damaged football journalism, but someone was going to do it eventually. And I think if it weren't for Fabrizio Romano, maybe it was David Ornstein. There's a lot of that sports journalists out there. It is just a little bit more flat now. You expect this player to be signed and you've got him, you like to go watch him. But I remember the big signing of Gareth Bale for Real Madrid. When that got announced, that was huge. There was no rumours of where he was going, no links here, there and everywhere. It was literally 1 day or 2 days before Gareth Bale makes the move, and then he's announced, and the whole world was like, holy shit, a Spurs man has just gone to Real Madrid for the record-breaking transfer. You didn't know this transfer fees, etc. Nowadays, Fabrizio's telling you how long the contract is, the salary, the transfer fee. But I think you have to respect the hustle and respect the grind that he goes through to get this information. Fabrizio! Oh, always believe in his foe. He's got the power to know that he's going to report every transfer and almost get it right every single time. I know, we've been through the conversations of Fabrizio, and I'm starting to see, especially this year, a lot of people saying Fabrizio low-key has ruined transfer talk in general. I remember when you used to have the BBC Sport page and the Sky transfer news page on deadline day, and no one knows what's going on behind the scenes in terms of medicals, etc. So let's say a deadline day. My dad used to watch it on Sky News, and you wouldn't know what's happening until the day it pretty much happened, or when it did happen. Okay, this person's having his medical. Are they going to get it done? Okay, they've got it done. Whereas nowadays, you are excited about who's being talked about, who's potentially moving, but you don't necessarily have that unknownness. You're like, oh, okay, I expected that. And when I use Gareth Bale as an example, Dan James also, when his medical broke down, it's unexpected. It's like, wow. And you're constantly scrolling BBC Sport and Sky News. There's other ones as well, but they had limited information. They didn't necessarily have all these connections that Fabrizio may have, and so they didn't get intel early like he does. So anyone who got announced was like, oh my god, I can't believe he's gone there. I can't believe he's gone there. Whereas now it's very rare that you see a transfer like that. Frimpong, for example, yeah, Liverpool are getting him. It's wow, oh my god, Liverpool are building really well. Liverpool are getting this. Real Madrid are getting this piece, and Man City spending all this money on all these players. That is really cool, they're building, but the shock factor almost is gone. And I don't know whether you can solely blame Fabrizio for that. It's what he's done, and I think at the start everyone liked that inner scoop, don't they? With anything, you know, you talk, it's football gossip realistically, and in days and work environments, family, whatever you're doing, everybody loves to gossip. And so Fabrizio is giving you that inner scoop of, oh, what's going on behind the scenes, and then showing it to the world, which a lot of people do like. Obviously there's going to be that trade-off of not particularly having that, wow, can't believe that, but in the end of the day, everybody says this nowadays, it is what it is. And where does sports journalism lie now with Fabrizio and David Ornstein and all this? Are we constantly just going to get updates on transfers, etc., and not really have that surprise signing? I think that is long in the past. In terms of the classic journalism, working for a fucking BBC Sport or some shit company like that, it's gone realistically. The journalists usually tend to work for themselves, and nowadays they're the ones who are connected to the agents. They're the ones who will definitely get priority in terms of the information that is shared around. I think it will definitely continue in the future, unless the fucking social media just dies somehow and we have a massive, huge power cut and the internet gets blown up. I think it's here to stay. It 100% is, and Fabrizio is leading that pack. You'll get a load more sports journalists. Maybe they'll have increased more access of, I don't know what it's like to live in a life of them, but for the most part, it's here to stay. I don't think it's necessarily a really bad thing, but it would have been nice just to get a few surprise packages here and then. Nowadays, it is expected. I know what is the future for sports journalism. I'm not even in that sort of realm, but I think it is very, very bright, and there's probably more people who want to be similar to Fabrizio Romano. He gets in all the places, gets the early access. They probably tell Fabrizio first, etc. He gets the exclusivity, and there is journalists in that. I think he will keep just doing his thing. He obviously makes decent amounts of money, and realistically, he's bringing the news to sports fans quicker and faster than ever. Like everything nowadays, it's all about convenience. AI, fucking food delivery, it's all how quick can we get it so we all become lazy fat shits. But that is besides the point. I think Fabrizio realistically has done a fantastic job, and he can only go and progress unless he, I don't know, tries to cancel a football player. He's not going to do that, is he? He's just a news reporter, reports on football, and for the most part he might have a few biases of, okay, this person's won this trophy, etc., but he'll know the knowledge. And the one thing I don't like to phase, you know, the Ballon d'Or and award ceremonies like that, that's the thing where I go, okay, Fabrizio, I could have just learned that when it got announced, not already know that Messi's won the Ballon d'Or or that Rodri's won it this season and Real Madrid's camp won't be turning up to the Ballon d'Or. That sort of thing, I'm like, just stick to transfers. But I guess he wants to report on it all, and that makes the clicks and the talk, doesn't it? So, as I said, he's not probably a bad person. He's probably a very, very good guy, and football's changed, and journalism has changed for the better or for the worse. That's up to you to decide. But Fabrizio Romano has definitely brought sports fans news a lot quicker than most productions. I guess that's what you say. So, genuinely, I think he has gave us a bit more insight into what the football world is like.